So I think I may have found a cult. Or stumbled upon it, really. It all started with this guy named Rio. When I met him, I was intrigued, but the more I got to know him, the more I realized that there was more going on. So I decided to ask the people around him what it was that made him special, or when they realized that he had this special quality. And this is what they had to say.
So there are a lot of good memories that I've had with Rio, but I think the one that sticks out the most is the first time I went to Gumby's and he took me. It was 3 a.m. and he was recording a conversation of mine with him. And then we got hungry and we went over there. And it was just a genuinely good time when I had a really bad semester. So I think I really appreciate him for spending an effort to get to know me and help me out, genuinely. The reason why I like Rio so much is because he's genuinely kind and he's genuinely kind, and he doesn't not want people to get better and do better. He has this optimism about the world that is hard to have, but he does. And it's really respectable. But yeah, these are a few reasons why I love that man. Peace.
The first time I saw, or the first time I met Rio, it all happened in slow motion. I was in high school and I was doing a tutoring program, and so we were sitting at the bottom stairs of a spiral staircase in the library, and I was waiting for a girl that I had liked, and it was taking an unusually long time for her to get down there. And as I saw her coming down, I saw her talking to someone else with hair like a porcupine sticking up like this, and I was like, who is this guy? I think for the first time in my life, I was genuinely curious about another person. And when I met him, I thought, I just kept asking myself, who is this person? Because we were able to communicate in a way that I hadn't been able to with anyone else, even now. I think my favorite memory, though, is a series of times we had bonfires back in Citrus County. Usually our friend Matt would host them, and I would bring a bunch of booze, and we would get drunk drinking whiskey and listening to music raucously out in the middle of nowhere. And I think those were probably some of the best nights of my life.
So, one of my favorite things about you is that you give people the space to be themselves. It can be tiring, being around people you feel like you have to show out for lack of a better phrase. So it's refreshing, when I'm around you, that I don't have to think as much about what I'm going to say or how I'm behaving. And I think the best version of a person is the natural one, like the one that's not influenced by societal norms or like an internal pressure to be a certain way. And I think you let people express that version of themselves. And I think that's a great thing to give to people. So thanks for being you, and happy birthday.
Yeah, so from the moment I met Rio, I was just instantly interested in him. Like, he just had such a unique way of talking and existing. I don't know. And over time, as I got to know him, it just feels like every conversation is just like a learning experience. I always come out of it feeling like I've gained something. Like, every conversation, it's just fascinating. Yeah. So thank you for expanding my mind and being nice to so many people. Love you, buddy.
Happy birthday, man. I'm really upset that I wasn't able to be there today. I hope all of you guys are having a lot of fun. I think you probably are. I'm really glad that you are still in my life, and I look forward to being friends with you for the rest of it. So, happy birthday, man. Don't be afraid to just be yourself. That's what we all love.
Cool. I don't know how long ago it was that I met Rio, but like, he's the type of person that I don't know how long we've known each other. I just know that it feels like we've known each other longer. I know that recently I got a notification that was like, you've known Rio for 1 year, and I told him, and he was like, it feels like longer, and I was like, yeah, it does. I feel like he's the kind of friend that we just kind of get each other, and like, you don't even have to like talk a whole lot to get along. Like, those moments of silence are not awkward, they're just chill, and I think that's a cool thing to have with someone. Yeah, I hope that we can be friends for a while, and like, no matter what happens, like, you know, the kind of friend that you can still hit up and be like, hey, what's up? How's it going? What you doing? Let's go get lunch or something. Yeah.
Remember about us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, am I ready?
Yep.
I think one of the fondest memories I have of Rio was when we woke up at 5 o'clock to tape doors shut on a campsite. We were dead dog tired. We had been up all night. We get up and we just kind of walk through these lonely, dark paths, and we eventually find cabins of people, and we just pull out our tape and we just keep taping the doors shut. It probably wouldn't have worked. I probably could have just opened the doors right away, but it was a nice bonding moment. We spent 2 hours in the pitch black dark just talking and taping doors. It was impactful.
It was, I think, 4th grade. So we were in elementary school, and it was culture day. And Rio brings in these eggs, and they look like hard-boiled eggs, so nobody really thought anything of it. And I'll never forget it because he opened up the egg, and inside was the full chicken, the full baby chicken. And everyone, it just blew everyone's minds. I mean, I don't think anyone will ever forget it. And then, so you pulled off like a couple pieces, like the beak and then something else. And then Jesse Watkins, you told him he was eating the penis. And it just, I'll never forget that. That's definitely my favorite Rio memory.
Happy birthday. I just wanted to start by saying I have really come to enjoy my Thursdays because I feel like I've been spending a lot of them with you. But basically, you're the coolest person ever, and you're so smart and funny and quirky and weird, but in a good way, so it's okay. And you're always so open-minded to meet new people and try new things, and I love that. You have the adventurous spirit of, like, all the nomads in the world. And yes, of all of them, you're my favorite. Happy birthday, and I think I'm supposed to pick a favorite memory, so if I had to pick a favorite memory of me and Rio, it would definitely be when I first met him. It was at weekend, and we were done with the sharing circle, and we're gonna go dunk Casey into, like, the pond, but basically before that, you came up to me, and you were like, hey, I think you're really funny, and you're really cool, and I was like, whoa, what a coinky dink, I think you're really funny and cool, we should be friends, and then we became friends. There are definitely better jokes and, like, more conversation, I promise, but Rio made it really easy, and I think that just says a lot about who he is, and he just radiates this warmth and this coolness, even though he is kind of morbid sometimes, but, like, honestly, he's a teddy bear, it's fine. I don't know if I'm, like, saying all these things in front of all your people, but, like, I'm sure that they understand, too. Like, he's rough on the edges, heart is super warm, super cold. But, yes, I remember I wrote you a note at weekend, it had a bottle of barbecue sauce on it, and then Yeah, oof, I reword. Okay, so I drew a freaking bottle of barbecue sauce because I think you told me you liked barbecue sauce. We were talking about sauce, and I like pointed at it with an arrow, and then I just wrote you because you are the sauce. So don't get lost in the sauce because you can't. It's you. You're awesome. Remember that. That's our favorite memory, and that's a wrap. Bye-bye.
Okay, so it's hard for me to pinpoint like a specific memory with Rio that that really stands out, just because there have been so many, and I think that like picking one and picking it accurately would like contribute to like some level of a false impression of Rio and I's relationship. So I'll just go into some of the reasons why I like Rio, and why he's probably my best friend. So Rio is able to look at situations and things and ideas in ways that other people are just like not able to do. And you know, that doesn't come from a place of flattery, I don't think, just because like I'm not interested in flattering Rio right now, but I do think that he's able to turn and flip situations in his head to where they're like amusing, even if they're not superficially amusing. Maybe one memory I have of him that is an example of that is we were in Walmart one day and we found a wheel of cheese, or at least part of a wheel of cheese, so it was like a wedge, and we happened to have a protractor, so we decided to figure out how much 1 degree of the cheese cost. And you know, I don't know anyone else that I would be able to do something like that with, or that would like even care or be interested. So I think there's something special in living in Rio's head. So yeah, happy birthday, Rio. Right now I'm in lab working on stuff that I should have been working on before, but yeah, so I probably won't be able to make it, but I hope it's great. I know that you're, you know, gonna have a good time no matter what, so happy birthday. At least you're older on the inside.
All right, ready whenever you are.
Camera over. Hello, Rio. Am I supposed to like?
So just answer the question, like,
Okay,
what's your
alright.
favorite memory with him, or like some qualities about him that you admire? Like, it could be anything.
Okay, so like, maybe I should go off like the first impression, like, because like Rio just has like such a presence that like the first time you meet him, like you just know that this is like someone special. And like one of my favorite qualities about him, we had a long conversation about it, but he gets you to see a whole lot of things from a new perspective. Like you both might agree on something like 100% and both believe the same thing, but he might get you to sit down and reanalyze it just in like a completely new way and come to the same conclusion. And like that's a really good quality. I think he challenges a whole lot of people, but in a very empathetic way. And then I think my favorite memory of Rio, okay, either like when I had my first watermelon like ceremony type thing, like that was just an experience. But no, I think we were at some party. I didn't end up getting really fucked that night because someone dropped my fireball. And so I was like, oh, let me just like go to the pool with Rio. So we like hopped over this fence and like we swam in this pool, and it was like me, Precious, Rio, and then Mark. And we just had like a really amazing conversation, and it was just so chill and so nice. I don't know if I could really find like another word for it. But like at every interaction that I have with Rio, I like come away with like that being a marked interaction. There's never an interaction I have with him where I'm like, oh, that was just Rio. It's always very involved and like very special. And so like every time I see him, it's like nice and important and like unique. It makes my day interesting.
Something that I really appreciate about you is the effort that you expend in conversations to understand what the other person is saying and to empathize with their situation, even if you've never felt it yourself. And I think that's really important. Happy birthday.
Rio is a completely unique person and a completely unique friend. It was before I knew him, there really was like no one that I had known like him and no one that I could get from him what I get from Rio. And the people he's introduced me to are similar to him and kind of enter that category, but there really was for a while non-Rio and Rio. And every conversation I have with Rio, I learn something from and I grow from. I love him, but he also just, for my own selfish reasons, helps me tremendously. I've grown so much since I've known him and from the people he's introduced me to. And he just is a perfect friend to have.
Hey Rio. When Natalie asked me to do this, I was thinking, like racking my brain, oh my god, what is my most memorable experience with Rio? Like, or what is like the most Rio thing I've ever seen him do? A couple things popped into my head. One, when you jumped into the fountain on your birthday last year.
At 18.46. 18.46 seconds. Are you gonna jump?
Is he like, oh my god. And just the conversations we've had and how valuable I find those. And also when we were picking fruits off of those cactuses and eating them and it stained my hands. I'm very grateful for your friendship and I'm sorry I haven't been as present lately, but love you very much.
Rio, 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 Rio,
Before the ants get to it.
After everything I've seen, I've realized that Rio brings people together. Everyone who gets close to Rio realizes how much of a positive impact he can have on people's lives. He brings out the best in others and shows them what the important things in life are. Relationships, self-esteem, and making a difference. Everyone around him sees the light that he brings into this world and wants to be closer to that. He looks at the world and art with analytical eyes. Rio makes every conversation count and wants every day of his life to mean something. He shows people what the world could be by talking about important ideas that could change things. He sees the value in so many different types of people, and the ones that he attracts are those who value their life and time.